When we think of Christmas, we imagine twinkling lights, festive songs, and a jolly man in red who rewards good children with gifts. But in the shadow of Saint Nicholas lurks a much darker figure, a horned half-demon, half-goat creature who doesn't hand out presents. He punishes the wicked. His name, Krampus. Today we'll dive deep into the chilling history of Krampus, where he came from, how he became tied to Christmas, and why he continues to terrify and entertain people around the world to this day. By the Middle Ages, Krampus had become firmly attached to the feast of St. Nicholas, celebrated on December 6th in much of Europe. St. Nicholas rewarded good children with small gifts, nuts, fruits, and sweets. But for the naughty ones, Krampus appeared, with shaggy black fur, twisted horns, and a lolling red tongue. Krampus carried chains and bells, symbols of the devil bound by Christianity. In his hands he held birch rods called ruten to whip misbehaving kids. Sometimes he carried a basket or sack said to be used to drag children away, never to be seen again. This frightening partnership served as a moral lesson. Behave well and you'd be rewarded. Misbehave and Krampus would come for you. Far from being hidden away, Krampus was celebrated publicly. On the night before St. Nicholas's Day, known as Krampusnacht or Krampus Night, men dressed as the beast roamed through villages rattling chains and terrifying children. Even today, Krampusnacht is still practiced in alpine regions like Austria, Bavaria, and parts of Switzerland. On the night of December 5th, Krampus runs, called Krampuslauf, take over city streets. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of people dress in elaborate handcrafted costumes. They stomp through towns wearing carved wooden masks, ringing cowbells, and carrying torches. These events are both terrifying and thrilling. Spectators might get swatted with birch sticks, chased down alleyways, or covered in soot. But they also feature music, dancing, and plenty of alcohol. For many, Krampusnacht is less about actual fear of punishment and more about embracing chaos during the dark winter months, a cathartic release before the peaceful, holy celebrations of Christmas. Krampus hasn't always been welcomed. In the 17th and 18th centuries, the Catholic Church tried to stamp out Krampus celebrations, branding them as sinful pagan practices. Later, in the early 20th century, the Austrian government briefly banned Krampus parades, fearing they were too violent and frightening for children. Even the Nazis disapproved. They considered Krampus a dangerous symbol of degenerate culture and tried to erase him from Alpine tradition. But Krampus proved too strong to kill. In fact, he thrived, especially in the form of Krampus postcards or Krampuskarten. These vintage cards, popular in the 19th and early 20th centuries, show Krampus chasing children, stuffing them in sacks, or even wooing women. They became a cheeky, humorous way of keeping the legend alive. By the late 20th century, Krampus made a full comeback. He became a celebrated part of European Christmas traditions once again. In recent decades, Krampus has gone global. Krampus runs have spread beyond the Alps, with events held in cities across Europe, North America, and even Australia. In the US, Krampus has become a cult figure, appearing in horror films, TV shows, comic books, and festivals. Part of the appeal is the contrast. In a season often sugar-coated with cheerful consumerism, Krampus offers a darker, more primal counterpoint. He embodies the shadow side of the holidays, reminding us that Christmas hasn't always been about cozy fireplaces and candy canes. From pagan roots to Christian folklore, from government bans to global pop culture, Krampus has endured as one of the most fascinating and terrifying figures of the holiday season. He's a reminder that winter festivals were never just about joy. They were also about surviving darkness, facing fears, and embracing both sides of human nature, the good and the bad. So this December, when you hear the jingling of bells in the distance, ask yourself, is it St. Nicholas bringing you gifts? Or is it Krampus coming for you? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Would you rather meet St. Nicholas or Krampus on a cold December night?